Hi, I'm Mike Fitzgerald. I'm CEO of Altobridge, a wireless network provider that specialises in remote communities. So we connect the remote communities of the world with a standard wireless communication system that's cost effective. When we look at these remote communities and remote enterprises of the world, we ask questions like, where are the power cables? Where are the transmission lines? And the answer is obvious. There is neither. Now what we have to think about is, well, what do we do? How are we going to put out remote wireless systems in these regions and connect them back? So when we look at the biggest barrier to entry, we look at the operational overhead cost, the cost of running the system. If the system is going to lose money, then no universal service obligation fund or no service provider can afford to put the system in, because who's going to run it? Who's going to make money out of it? Nobody. So what we focused on was the three key areas. Power, how do we power it efficiently? Transmission, how do we connect it to the connected world efficiently? And who installs it and who maintains it? So when we looked at power, we said, okay, the diesel generator, getting diesel to the remote community, that's not an option. We must go solar. And we worked diligently on bringing down power consumption levels to a point where today, thankfully, we can claim that you need enough power to run our system as you need to run a light bulb. But interestingly, we've managed to get good coverage out of our system as well. As we move on further into power challenges, we look at the solar power itself and we look at battery backup. We needed to make sure we can get that down. Batteries are expensive. So what we found was different ways and different techniques of reducing the number of batteries that you need. When we looked at transmission, we looked at microwave, we looked at all the typical examples that you have today, and we felt the only way back from a lot of these enterprises and communities was over satellite. And there's a lot of deployed satellite, and there's a lot of satellite that's being deployed, and it's very economical. But it wasn't economical to connect base stations. We've spent 9 years cracking the area that is connecting base stations over satellite as cost effectively as is technically possible. The second challenge for connecting the world's unconnected communities and enterprises is the area of capital expenditure. We look at the tower, the traditional tower that everyone uses today, and we look at sharing towers, and we said the tower doesn't work when it comes to these communities. It's not possible to cover lots of communities from one single tower. So we looked at the idea of breaking up this tower, effectively breaking it into poles. Why can't we have a lite-site that we can put on a pole and actually run a system from a lower cost base, a lower capital cost base? So thankfully we've achieved this. Today in many places in Asia and Africa, we have deployed our lite-site on a pole, which creates a scenario for the operator which is quite attractive, where they can take their capital budget that they have, take out a single site, capital cost, and actually deploy 5 solutions, a ratio of 5 to 1. That's 5 more communities, 5 more enterprises that are connected from the capital budget of one site. And we've proven that actually more subscribers can get a better service with this model. We've seen schools where teachers are able to communicate back to the capital cities. We've seen farmers that were able to gain access to information where now they can actually produce a better product and more products. And we've seen the traders trade those commodities to take that just agricultural produce, the general enterprises that are there, and get a better price in the market, because now they know exactly where pricing is going, they know where their competition is, and they're learning more.